Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kubibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Sri Madatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, your gospel is like nectar and bliss showered upon the pain-stricken lives of suffering humanity. It dispels all the sins and misdeeds of life. It brings spiritual welfare in life. The spiritual beauty, prosperity and grace spreads through and through one who listens to your holy message. They are the real givers in the world who preach and pronounce the nectar of your message to the suffering humanity. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are back to our reading of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are on page 904. And here we see that Sri Ramakrishna is talking to Shyam and Dr. Sarkar, Ram, and others. Doctor, pointing to Girish, he said, of course he would not come as long as I was here. No sooner I am about to leave, then he enters in the room. It is a joke. Girish goes entering. So doctor was talking with Ramakrishna for a long time, and he said that as I am going out, now see, he has come in. So naturally they again started discussing the argumentation against all, so many topics will come, Girish versus Dr. Sarkar. So Girish and Dr. Sarkar then began to talk. What they talk? They talk about science association established by Dr. Sarkar. Master, will you take me there one day? Master is asking to Dr. Sarkar that you have started this science association, you have established that institution, will you take me there? Doctor, if you go there, you will lose your consciousness at the sight of the wondrous works of God. Master, oh, that indeed. Huh? Doctor, to Girish, whatever you may do, please do not worship this man, him, as God. You are turning the head of this good man. That is Dr. Sarkar's speciality. He can accept Ramakrishna as a good man. Very innocent man, childlike, simple, but don't make him God. Why are you to make him God? But he does not understand that God can incarnate as a human being, and some can experience that, understand that. But because it is too much rational thinking of Dr. Sarkar, it becomes really very difficult to conceive this idea that infinite God, who is all pervaded, will be born as like a human being with flesh and bone and behaving like us and walking around. How can that be? God can be here. Embodiment of God is this Ramakrishna. So he's saying he's a good guy. He goes into ecstasy. Those are good things. And you people are making him crazy by praising that you are God, you are Lord, you are this and that. So don't spoil his head. That is because Girish is firm belief that God has come to relieve him from bondage. No? That's why he said, "Oh Lord, had I known that you will come, I would have committed more blunders." So Girish has a firm conviction that God is present in front of me, the Lord God. And Dr. Sarkar says, how come possible? Lord God of the universe, by whose will the stars and galaxies are all coming and going into void, or newly created and destroyed. He's the guy who controls all these things. Can you believe? A simple guy, never go to school, has no college education, say he will be able to do that. But this is the controversy between faith versus knowledge. Intellectual knowledge versus faith. So faith does not count all this, your rationality. Faith says, here is a Shiva Lingam. It is Lord Shiva. Finished. No argument. It's stone, it is metal, it is made of this, and how much shape is regular, perfect shape. This matters little. It is a symbol of infinity. Shiva is the veritable presence of Shiva there. That's the devotee's attitude, who have faith in it. But most of the people, those who are rational, that's why the whole world criticizes Hinduism, because they are worshipping the stones and trees and plants. Everything is God for Hindus, no? The sun is a sun god. What type of nonsense? It is a sun. Science tells it is a sun emitting so much of energy. And where is God there? You see God, oh Lord, Java, Kusuma Sang, everyday puja. All the pujarinis did this one offering for the Surja, sun god. Java, Kusuma Sanka, Kasyapeyang, Mahadruting, all this chanting mantra. What is this? Is sun, material sun. And you are saying it is God, consciousness, this is. So this is the problem of, not problem, this is the two path, has its own pattern. But Ramakrishna stands in between. She is just watching what they talk about and giving little tidbit in between to bridge them together. So here he says, doctor says, if you go, whatever you may do, Dr. Sarkar is talking to Girish, please do not worship him as God. You can worship him as a holy man, that's okay, I accept. But don't think he is God. You are turning the head of this good man. Then Girish says, what else can I do? Oh, how else shall I regard a person who has taken me across the ocean of the world? And what is still more, the ocean of doubt. How can I ignore him? He has engulfed my all doubts. That's why Ramakrishna said, Sangshayo Rakshasa Nasha Maha Astram. Ramakrishna is another name, is Astra, is a weapon which severs. What it severs? The demon of doubt. God is there. Is he God? He has taken away that doubt from me. Unconditionally I feel that he is God himself sitting before me for the good of me, for redeeming me. So this conviction, I cannot avoid it. You may think that I am doing emotionally. No, it is his presence has created this firm conviction in my mind. No more doubt. That's why, Upanishad says, Vidyante hridaya granthi siddhante sarva sangshayaha tasmin drishte paravare. When you see the tasmin, that reality, which is para and avara, which merges into this avara and para, super and this. Whatever you see in this, all visible or invisible, which is that Lord, no? Tasmin, you have seen it, experience. Seen means not through the eyes. It is an experiential, non-dual experience. Who have done that? That is the only person who can get out of this doubt. Vidyante hridaya granthi, all the knots of the heart. What are the knots of the heart? My heart, my love is connected with this thing, that thing, that thing, that thing. And all these knots are cut. Then what will happen? It will not go that side, that side, that side. It will all come here, no? Vidyante hridaya granthi, siddhante sarva samshaya. All doubts cut asunder. There is no doubt anymore. I am convinced it is God, God himself sitting before me. The transcendental God has taken a human form. Nirguna Nirakara has taken a Saguna Sakara and a human incarnation form. So, and he says that, what else can I do? How else shall I regard a person That person you are seeing, that person Ramakrishna, he is not a person. He has taken away me across this ocean of the world. The world does not become a problem for me now, because this world appears as divine for me now, in the Girish's eyes, no? Who has done it? It is Ramakrishna did it. And what is still more, he has taken the doubt, the ocean of doubt. There is nothing in him that I do not hold sacred. In Ramakrishna, it is all sacred, nothing but sacred. And can I ever look up on even this excreta a filthy? Can I even look on even his excreta as filthy? His devotion is so high that there is nothing but purity. Everything is pure. Huh? So, God is all pure. So there is nothing that you can think that is worldly. Non-God, doctor. So doctor says, doctor saluted Sri Ramakrishna and touched the master's feet with his forehead. He is saying, don't make him God, but he himself, while going, he touched master's feet with his forehead. That's a very big thing for him, to bow down his head to Ramakrishna. But he is, it has this meaning also. Sometimes if you don't realize that what is God, we make everyone God, no? How many avatars are there in the world? Every group of devotional practice or the practitioners, they have their gurus and they are God himself. This our scripture teaches. Not in that sense. Treat your guru as God and treat Ramakrishna as God has a difference. Here is that you keep your spiritual attitude that is God has come in the form to help me. And this God himself is here. Two differences. So that conviction is very difficult to get, that to looking at Sri Ramakrishna, God himself. That's why many times it becomes a confusion. Vedanta teaches that we are all manifestation of the same divine, no? So, what is the difference between avatar and me? I am also avatar. That is the struggle most of the people feel. When I first came, I told you before also. So, and there are many brahmacharis. So I started giving the class, and then there is this problem, this question of avatar, and this thing came. And so they said that why Ramakrishna is to be worshipped? He is also Brahman. I am also Brahman. I am also Brahman. He is also Brahman. So if I am the manifestation of Brahman, he is also manifestation of Brahman. So why shall I accept him as avatar? My God, I tried two or three classes with all my all the quote of the scriptures and this and that. But those boys could not be convinced that yes, he is not Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna and he are almost same. So this is the problem to understand an avatar. That's why it is said to understand an avatar is the sign of highest wisdom. If one can understand God, in a way that avatar is God himself, it is the sign of a last state of knowledge. And great devotion, great purity of the heart is necessary to recognize avatar. Then Girish said, Doctor saluted, and then Girish said, "Oh, the angels are saying, blessed, blessed be this auspicious meaning." That means that Sarkar is bowing his head to Ramakrishna, as if the angels are happy now. That's why he brought that idea. Now the angels are blessing, no? Oh, blessed, blessed be this auspicious moment. The Dr. Sarkar has put his head at the feet of Ramakrishna. Then doctor said, "What is there to marvel at the taking the dust of a man's feet? I can take the dust of everybody's feet here. Give me, all of you, the dust of your feet." It is not very likely of Dr. Sarkar. The doctor touched the feet of all the devotees. Baba. Narendra is telling to the doctor, "We think of him," meaning the master, "as a person who is like God." His now argument. Again he is going out, but again he stands. He saluted, is almost going out, and then again Naren said, and started this discussion. Naren to the doctor, "We think him," means Ramakrishna, "as a person who is like God. Do you know, sir, what it is like? There is a point between the vegetable creation and the animal creation where it is very difficult to determine whether a particular thing is a vegetable or an animal. Likewise, there is a stage between the man world and the God world where it is extremely hard to say whether a person is a man or a God." That's what a great explanation Naren is given. And again to read. "We think of him as a person who is like God. Do you know?" He's talking to Dr. Sarkar. "Do you know, sir, what it is like?" Because he's an elderly person, very highly educated. Naren is a young boy, 17, 18 years old boy. So, "Sir, do you know what we mean like that? There is a point between really vegetation, life of vegetables, to the animal. There is a point departure, no? How it moves on. So that point you cannot determine whether it is a man, whether it is a vegetable or it is an animal. Similarly, here is the point that this man world and God world, our world and God world. So man try to merge into God consciousness, and then you go to a divine level where it becomes God himself. So there is a point, but in merging point you cannot understand whether it's man or he's God. That's why in the Lila Prasanga, the divine play of Ramakrishna, there it is written that Sri Ramakrishna's human aspect and the divine aspect, two playing in the same personality. Sometimes he is human, sometimes he is showing the expression of the divinity or God, godly power and human power, as if two merges into that personality. Devo bhav, manavo bhav. Devo bhav, the divine attitude, with fully expressed. It is impossible that every moment one can go to Samadhi, click into the highest experience of non-dual realization. And again, coming down, he is asking for, my hand has broken, when it will be cured, my throat is hurting, how can it be, I am in pain, oh doctor, please go keep some medicine. No? How can you understand? That's why it is a play, interplay between the man and God. So in him both aspect is merged, human aspect and God aspect. Doctor, well, my dear young friend, Naren, one cannot apply analogies to things divine. You are applying some examples of the material plane, but in divine plane this material example does not work. Narendra, I do not say that he is God. What I am saying is that he is God-like man. He is almost God. Then whom we call God? Where absolute joy, absolute peace, absolute consciousness is manifested, absolute bodilessness, that idea. So we find those qualities, characteristics, that's why we call God. That's why you worship him. Doctor, one should suppress one's feeling. Now doctor comes back to his own inner feeling. He is a scientist, so he has deep love maybe, but he does not want to make it a show. So doctor is responding to the Noren's question, Noren's godlike attitude. He said, one should express one's feelings in such a matter. One should suppress, not express. One should suppress one's feeling in such a matter. He is godlike, you keep that feeling in yourself. Don't say outside. It is bad to give vent to them. Alas, no one understands my feelings. I am not that bad as you are thinking, Dr. Sarkar is saying, you are all thinking, I have no devotion, I don't like Ramakrishna. But I say all these things, you don't know my heart, what is there. As if it is bad to give vent to them. So you have your great feeling, don't express. That is the idea we say, don't express your spiritual experiences so quickly to others. Don't say what you have experienced, only to very restricted person who can understand it and whom you love and respect that way. Otherwise your intensity of your experience will go away. When you express those inner feelings, then your inner feeling, the joy you used to get whenever you used to remember that will go down. So alas, no one understands my own feelings. Even my best friends think of me as a stern and cruel person. Even people like you will perhaps one day throw me out after beating me with your shoes. Because I don't subscribe that openly say that he is God, no? But I carry so much love inside. Master. And now Master Sri Ramakrishna is balancing. Don't say such things. They love you so much. They await your coming as eagerly as the bridesmaids in the bridal chamber await coming of the groom. So he is balancing. Don't think that they hate you so much because you don't accept me. But they have great love for you. They love, respect you. So don't say such thing. They love you so much. They await your coming. That means all the devotees also take you as a part of their family, devotee family. Girish, everyone has the greatest respect for you. Girish is saying to Dr. Sarkar, Doctor, my son and even my wife think of me as a hard-hearted person. My only crime is that I don't display my feelings. He says that his inner feeling is full of love, but the outer expression is little. Some people are there, no, who cannot be understood by their exterior. Say sometimes Raja Maharaj and others used to so hard on some brahmacharis. They see the exterior, but they used to say, if I love you and if I show that, what love is that? It is a show of love. But love should be so deep. Even whom you love, he will not be able to understand that you love him. That's very high level. So an outward expression of love, it should not be so spoiling your inner feelings intensity. Anyhow, it is the knowledge, a person of wisdom or scientific-minded person thinks this way, and he is the example of the West. Actually, that is, Dr. Sarkar is an example in the West, and you can see all this drama, how East and West is fighting with each other. One is rational thinking, another is emotional feeling experiences. One is saying he is God himself. He accept it fast. But they say, no, why to accept? Let me analyze, let me find deeper into it and absorb more. Why to express that? No? So these are the two attitudes. Doctor, will you believe me when I say that my feelings get worked up even more than yours? If I say, oh Girish, Your feelings are there, my feelings is more than that. Will you believe me? I carry that feeling inside. That is the point. Dr. Sarkar says, I carry that feeling inside, I don't express. Not to expose my inner understanding. I do not display my feelings. Then Girish says, in that case, sir, it would be wise for you to open the door of your heart. At least out of pity for your friends. For you see that your friends cannot otherwise understand you. No, you said that friends could not understand. I have so much inside, but they see my exterior and don't what is there. Then he said, why not you open up a little bit so that we also understand that your feelings are so deep and profound. To Sri Ramakrishna. Well, may I say something? It's Dr. Sarkar is saying to Ramakrishna. Well, may I say something? When you are in the ecstasy, you place your foot on others' bodies. That is not good. He is an outspoken person. Putting someone's leg on someone's body is not a very dignified thing, no? So he is criticizing, pointing out he has so much emotion he was suppressing and all this he said in one point. Next line he is saying, I don't like that you put your feet on someone's body. No, that is not good. Then what Sri Ramakrishna says, do you think I know at that time of ecstasy that I am touching another's body with my foot? Because I am not there, no? It is in a spiritual ecstasy, when the mind merges into the divine, ego is gone. So I don't do anything. The divine works through me. That's why you call mother. Mother works through. Eh? All this called the mother's grace, no? So do you think that I know at the time that I am touching another with my foot? Doctor, you feel that it is not right thing to do, don't you? You feel that it is not right to do things like that? Don't you know? Master said, how can I explain to you when I experience Samadhi? You are intellectually understanding. As if I am doing some with my ego. No? When one goes to ecstasy and Samadhi, what happens to the person? Mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, naham. All merge into that consciousness. It's withdrawn into consciousness. So when it goes into that state of awareness, then where is the point? Where is will be understanding that ego is still there and I am doing intentionally, putting my feet on somebody. You are thinking in that your level. But in Samadhi level, the total abnegation of ego, I totally dissolves. So therefore, how can I explain to you what I experience in the Samadhi? After coming down from that state, I think sometimes that my illness may be due to result of my divine madness. Because when I only feel I am suffering so much, but when I go there I am nothing. When I come down from that state, I can feel that I have some suffering. That means I enter into the body identity, little bit, and then I can feel, oh, this. What the question of putting my feet in others? I am not there. So this is the point. Sri Ramakrishna's action, whatever he did, is due to this transferring the spiritual energy, totally being a conduit. He does not do anything. Through him the spiritual energy flows then. Of course other times also, but that's in the moment of ecstasy, that's a very direct connection. All this is the result of the divine madness. How can I help it? Doctor, now he accepts my view. He expresses regret for what he does. He is conscious that the act is sinful. Again, Dr. Sarkar, the brain works, no? Now he takes it as a example. Oh, now Ramakrishna is accepting my point. No? Yes, I don't want to do that. It's a bad thing, I know. But I am not doing actually. My ego is gone. That means you are accepting that is a bad thing, to put your feet on somebody. So he accepts my views and he expresses regret for what he does. He is conscious that it is act of sinfulness. The master to Narendra, you are very clever. Why don't you answer this question? Explain it all to the doctor. Then Girish now started. But Ramakrishna cannot go for more argument because it is his experience. How can you express your experience to someone who have no idea about that? Activity, ego, function, thinking comes when you come back, drop down from that level of union with that Supreme to a level of body and pure body, pure mind, no? In that level of pure intelligence. So there you can judge good, bad. But he is not there. When the action happens, he is oblivious of his own consciousness about body, mind, everything. Girish now taking a part. Now doctor was going out, All this discussion is coming when? Doctor was going out and then Girish entered. And then Girish entered and started little discussion and then he was going out. And then again Naren came into picture and all this discussion continued. That means he is missing his all patients now because his time is being spent with Sri Ramakrishna where he has to go to see the patients. So Girish goes his argument, sir, means Dr. Sarkar, you are mistaken. He is not expressing regret for touching the bodies of the devotees during Samadhi. This Ramakrishna. His own body is pure, untouched by any sin. That he touches others in this way is for their good. Sometimes he thinks that he may have got this illness by taking their sins upon himself. This is the thing. Ramakrishna is now regretting that I did a sinful activity, that's why my throat cancer has come. No, not that. On the contrary, out of compassion when he does in that mood, their sin is withdrawn into his body. That's why it happens spontaneously. So he is not regretting that I did a bad thing, that's why I am suffering. But it is out of compassion only, for the good of others. Avatar comes for that purpose. Avatar comes only for the redemption of others, for taking away the sin of others. No? Think of your own case. And Girish goes giving the argument. Think of your case. Once you suffered from colic, did not you have regrets at that time for sitting up and reading till very late at night? Does that prove that reading till the late hours of the night is in itself a bad thing? He, meaning Ramakrishna too, may be sorry that he is ill, but that does not make him feel that it is wrong on his part to touch others for their welfare. It is not his own karma. I did some bad karma, I will suffer. That's okay. I put my finger into the fire, my finger will burn. But it is not for. I take someone's hand was getting burned, I take away his burning pain into me and relieve that person. So it is, don't make these two things equal. Dr. Sarkar felt rather embarrassed and said to Girish, I confess my defeat. I confess my defeats at your hands. Give me the dust of your feet. It's a funny conversation. And then he saluted Girish. Dr. Sarkar then touched the feet of this Girish ghost. He gave the argument that don't think that Ramakrishna is regretting that I did a very bad karma by taking away their sins. Their sins I have taken away. That is my compassion. Why I shall suffer? Your suffering I shall take away. Who can take that? Only God can take it.
But at the time of suffering, like we also, if we think like that instead of feeling bad, suppose I have cancer and I'm thinking that, I did bad. Or instead of that, if I think like that, I also took somebody.
Have you the capacity? Have you the capacity? But earn the capacity.
Give me some feel-good factor.
Feel-good factor. But that is based on false argument, based on false proposition. No.
Other people are faulty and I am good. That
You can think that way. No, anyone can think, I am suffering because of you. I have taken away your sin, your bad karma, so I am such a great person. I can take away your bad karma. No? You have no money in your pocket and you are doing charity. That's the point. So who can say that? The saints can do that. If the saints and seers of truth, they are all pure now. So if they really did, Ramakrishna did know. One patient what was his disease? Some incurable disease, and Ramakrishna touched and he get cured. And Thakur's hand was burning, and he said, "Ma, I will never do," and started washing the hand and cried, "Ma, I will never do, please forgive me, forgive me." Huh? But touching it comes away. What can you do? It's like the what is called the physics we do, the liquid water, same, it goes to the same height, no? What is that test? Siphon action. So if you keep the water, it will flow from the upper osmosis. Anyhow, the flow to the down level. It is natural. So if you have some wealth, spiritual wealth, and you become naturally you become compassionate, that quality comes, that spiritual energy comes because of pure spiritual practice, no? So when you become so pure, so you become compassionate. And naturally that flows downward. Because you don't need anymore, you are already attained the illumination. So when you give it, it happens to the saintly people also. They suffer so much. The Holy Mother is the greatest example. How many people she touched and how much she suffered all through the life. They are the people who out of compassion does things. And they are in a very highly charged with high spiritual energy. So they can take away the sins of others. That's why you read the reminiscences of Holy Mother and others, this is how they are getting the experience. That experience, why we don't get that experience? We are doing our japa meditation morning, evening, trying 1 hour sitting this time, that. I have no experience like that. But when in front of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, they touch something and the horizon of experience is coming out. How it is happening, how the dust and dirt of the mind is cleaned, that is in one stroke. So that is the transference of power, and that is grace of God. And that's why in scripture they say it is the kripa and God's grace. It is. Narendra is talking to Doctor to Narendra. Whatever else one may say about him, means Ramakrishna, meaning Girish, one must admit his intellectual power. Doctor has accepted the defeat. Now he says, yes, Girish, whatever may be, he's a good a lawyer, as it were. No, his argument cannot be defeated so easily. Intellectual power. Narendra, to the doctor, you may look at things from another standpoint. You can devote your life to scientific research without giving a thought to your health or comfort. But the science of God is the grandest of all sciences. Is not it natural for him to risk his health to realize him? Naren is in another level. He is now not Vivekananda, he is a boy, 18 years old boy, going to Ramakrishna, the youngest, bright, brilliant boy. But the argument he's giving that you may look at the thing from another standpoint. You are looking at this transference of power and this and that. But another angle is that you can devote your life to scientific research and without giving a thought to your health. No? You are so much engrossed in your lab. The day goes, night comes, you have not eaten properly, you have not slept properly, no? And it tells upon the health. And your health deteriorates. Does it mean that your scientific research is bad? Because you are engrossed in scientific research, you could not pay attention to your body. Similarly, in spiritual realm it will happen. If one is engrossed in God consciousness, and he will be oblivious of the head, and our body will suffer. Why not take this argument also? If you don't like the sin idea, then you can take this argument that it is natural. Anywhere you devote your time and energy, you have to sacrifice something. And that sacrifice is your health, your sleep, your other amusement and fun, because you are concentrating on one. So in spiritual life also, take Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna is just so dedicated to God realization and God intoxication. He didn't pay any attention to the body. Naturally, body was ignored, and body is having its own consequence. It's a scientific explanation. So you can take this argument also. Forget sin, transfer, giving sin, taking sin. If you don't accept, this is a logic, you can accept it. Doctor, all religious reformers, including Jesus, Chaitanya, Buddha, Muhammad, were in the end filled with egotism. Dr. Sarkar is always goes too far away. Jesus Christ, Chaitanya, Buddha are all egotistic. Why? They all said, whatever I say is alone true. How shocking! Because everyone had to establish a new religion. Then they say that what I say, follow it. Gita, follow me only. In every religion, the pioneers of the religion say that I am the beginner, I am the supporter of everything. So I, he's taking that stand, that they are all egotistic people. Girish to the doctor, now sir, you are committing the same mistake. You are accusing them, of all of them, as egotistic. You are finding fault with them. For that very reason, you too can be accused of egotism. You are saying they are egotistic. If you blame Chaitanya, Buddha, Christ, they are all egotistic people, that you can be also blamed in the same argument. You are egotistic. You see, your ego is so much that you see that everyone is having their weakness of establishing themselves in the world and becoming ego-centric. Dr. Sarkar remained then silent, and Narendra said to the doctor, we offer worship to him bordering on divine worship. So when I worship to Sri Ramakrishna, we don't worship him as a human being, but he is as if the divine present, veritable, bordering on the divine. That means human is just ending and divine is it is a threshold. So he is standing on the threshold of divinity. That's why we worship him from that perspective. All these words, the master laughed like a child. At all these words, master laughed like a child. See, they are all discussing about Sri Ramakrishna. But look at Sri Ramakrishna. He is smiling at this type of funny discussion. For him, see, if someone is discussing about you, what will happen? How much involved we will be? If someone talks about me in front of me, then I will be involved much, no? Hey, no, this is not right. Hey, this is right, this is... But he is enjoying like a child, as if They are discussing about somebody else, third party. That is the greatness of the avatars. They are childlike, they have no ego, they have no identification with anything. So, here ends the chapter, and then we can start the next chapter, 48, in the company of the devotees at Sampukur. So, shall I read? Okay, I can read.
Because there is one question.
One question, let it come more.
Many questions.
Oh, many. Okay, so let me read a little bit. Sri Ramakrishna is in the company of the devotees and in Shampukur in Calcutta. In Shampukur, where he was in Dakshineshwar, he came to Calcutta. That Shampukur, being the close in the heart of the Calcutta, then doctors are easily available. And devotees who live in Calcutta, they need not have to go to Dakshineshwar by boat or by hackney carriage or something like that. In those days, transportation was not so easy. It takes longer time. So for that, and doctor's advice, so he was shifted to Shampukur. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning. In the morning, 10 o'clock, October 29, Thursday, it is 1885. And that time, at 10 o'clock, M arrived at Dr. Sarkar's house in Sakhari Tola, Calcutta, to report Sri Ramakrishna's condition to him. Dr. Sarkar became engaged in conversation. So, to give the report to the doctor, so M has gone to doctor's home, and they had to give the report of Sri Ramakrishna's. Last night it was like that, and he could sleep, he could not sleep, or something like that, that's the report. But as instead of that, they started talking about, Dr. Sarkar started asking. You see, Dr. Behari Bhaduri, Dr. Behari Bhaduri always harp on the same thing. He says that Goethe's spirit came out of his body and the Goethe himself saw it. It must have been very amazing. Then as Sri Ramakrishna says, what shall we gain from these discussions? We have been born in the world in order to cultivate devotion to the lotus feet of God. He tells us the story of a man who entered an orchard to eat mangoes, but instead of eating the fruit, he took out pencil and paper and began to jot down the number of trees, branches, leaves in the orchard. A servant saw him and asked, "What are you doing? Why have you come here?" The man said, "I have come here to eat mangoes. I am now counting the trees, branches and leaves in the orchard." Quote ends. Thereupon the servant replied, "If you have come here to eat mangoes, then enjoy them. What will you gain by counting the trees, branches and leaves?" So, M, trained under Ramakrishna, as soon as Dr. Sarkar started discussing about another doctor, he is harping on something, and he says that Goethe's spirit came out of his body and the Goethe himself saw it. So, many of you see some visions, no? In the dream, your body has come out of your body and you are seeing like that. This type of discussion is good. But instantly Ramakrishna taught, why to talk about all these things? When you see the body is coming out of this or entering into body, what that will help? Love God, see God, feel God, experience God. That's why that teaching, what he heard from Ramakrishna, is presenting to doctor. The Dr. Sarkar says, I see that Paramahansa has been able to extract the essence of spirituality. Then Dr. Sarkar told him many stories about his homeopathic hospitals. Then he showed him the list of patients who visited the hospital every day. He further remarked that at the beginning many medical practitioners had discouraged him about homeopathy and had even written against him in magazines. M and Dr. Sarkar got into the doctor's carriage and doctor visited many patients. Then he entered a house of the Tagore family, Pathuriaghata, and was detained there by the head of the family. Returning to the carriage, he began to talk to M again. And doctor said, I was talking to the gentleman about Paramahansa. We also talked about theosophy and Alcott. The Paramahansa is angry with the gentleman. Do you know why? Because he says he knows everything. M. No, why Ramakrishna, who should be my master, will be angry? I heard that they once met each other. Paramahansa, they was talking about God. The gentleman said, oh yes, I know all that. Doctor, he has donated 32,500 rupees to the Science Association, etc., etc. This is all, Dr. Sarkar always brings all the, what he has done, his hospital he has started, and how it is helping the other people like that. Then they drove on and talking about Ramakrishna's illness and the care that they should be taken to him. Doctor said, do you need to send him back to Dakshineshwar? M. No, sir. That would greatly inconvenience the devotees. They can always visit him if he is in Calcutta. Doctor, but it is very expensive here. M. The devotees don't mind that. All they want is to be able to serve him. As regards the expenses, it must be borne whether he lives in Calcutta or in Dakshineshwar. But if he goes back to Dakshineshwar, the devotees won't always be able to visit him, and that will cause them great worry. Dr. Sarkar and him arrived at Sampukur and found the master sitting with the devotees in his room. Dr. Bhaduri and also was present there. Dr. Sarkar examined the master's pulse and inquired about the condition. The conversation turned to God. So, just on the carriage, they had some discussion, and then they arrived at the Kasipur, Sampukur, and there Sri Ramakrishna is sitting in his bed, and doctor tested and checked in his health, and then discussion started. What, Dr. Bhaduri, shall I tell you the truth? All this is unreal like a dream. Dr. Sarkar, is everything delusion? Then whose is this delusion? And why this delusion? If all know it to be delusion, then why do they talk? I cannot believe that God is real and His creation is unreal. So that is his stand, Dr. Sarkar says. So God is real and His creation is unreal. You say God is real, everything is unreal. Ramakrishna said, no. Vedanta says, only thing is God is the only reality, everything is false. No? But he said, I don't believe in that. If God is real, then the creation also real. Master, that is a good attitude. This is what you call the Vijnana, no? If God is also the transcendental, God is also immanent. Master, that is a good attitude. It is good to look on God as the master and one as his servant. As long as a man feels the body to be real, as long as he is conscious of I and you, it is good to keep the relationship of master and servant. It is not good to cherish that idea that I am he. See, here is the regular problem comes over here, we discuss about that. Vedanta is good, but who can apply Vedanta in the life perfectly? Who have no body identity. Because when I am thinking I, unconsciously my awareness is going to this body's condition, this mental condition, this emotional condition, that my intellectual ability, all are coming into the picture. How much I say I am that. So that's why the purification of the mind is necessary before you say that I am that reality. But as a practice it is okay. But we will not gain much unless mind is become pure. Saying so, I am Atman, but at the same time I get mad, I get reactionary, I feel happiness, misery, pleasure, pain. I am in the sway of all these dualities. No? Therefore Gita also said that it is for the Dehabadvi, those who have the body identity, this practice of the Vedantic practice is little harder. It didn't say impossible, it is harder. But it can be done, but that's why our methodology, Ramakrishna suggests, is better. That you purify your mind, at the same time think of Atman also, no problem. But it should be practice of devotion is more important so that your heart is pure. Devotion, karma yoga or meditation, whatever, all should be made so that we prepare ourselves for the Vedantic knowledge. Let me tell you something else. You see the same room, whether you look at it from one side or from the middle of the room. No? So this is the idea, is that you see as duality, saguna or nirguna, what you see? You are seeing the same God from different angle. No? When the mind goes to a higher level, purified mind, then you can think about I am Atman, and that all is pervaded by the same consciousness. But in saguna state, you will have to gradually move on and on and on and spiritualize everything, and ultimately experience will be the same. So we end here, and then we can have some questions. Tomorrow is whose class? Huh? Bhakti Yoga, tomorrow. Tomorrow Bhakti Yoga by Swami Sumanashananda. Please come and join in our online also. And I end the class here and then we go for question answer. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Panamastu. So here is a question: how can explain the sweetness of sugar when all you taste is bitter? The bitter to whom? That's the question.
Yeah. Or less sugar. Bitter is less sugar only, right? Bitter is only less sugar.
And that is another way of thinking. But another thing is that how can explain the sweetness of sugar when all you taste is bitter? We are tasting not the sweetness, but we are tasting everywhere. No, life is bitter. What is bitter? What is bitter? Bitter is you are unhappy. Everywhere you see, life is not enjoyable. So much of obstacles. Everywhere you try to do something, there comes something which hinders your path. So this life is bitter. But bitterness is because we are hanging on to the world. Not that bitterness because we are seeing God in them. Everything I am seeing, looking at it, is bitter, that because we are trying to find joy in the changing universe. Whatever is changing, we are trying to find, extracting juice from that. You have to go to the unchanging, which is eternal, which is Satchidananda. So that we are missing. So if we don't practice that, this world will be bitter. That's why dukkha, dukkha, dukkha. There we start our spiritual journey. Actually, everyone, we are here because of dukkha. Who would come to God if there is no suffering? Tell me. Our spiritual life starts from where? We get bitterness in the world. Bitterness is not bitterness because it is leading me to the sweetness. Bitterness, it starts. So if we are very happy in the worldly way, we never go to God. If I am satisfied with my normal life of eating, sleeping, and whatever we are get, and I am happy with it, what is my need of going to God? The repository of all sweetness and love. So, nothing is bitter. Bitter because our mind is unclear, mind is clouded, that's why it appears bitter. God is everywhere, no? See, if all the realized soul says that Satchidananda is everywhere. Ananda, Ananda, Madhuvata ritayate. Everywhere is honey, 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 honey. Who is saying? One saint is saying, sages are saying. So they are saying, okay, one saint has said, no. Madhuvata ritayate. Rabindranath Tagore says, Ananda dhara bahiche bhuvane. In the whole universe, a stream of bliss is flowing all around. No? Rabindranath Tagore is a mystic poet. He is expressing that idea. It is all Ananda. Jagate Ananda Jagge Amar Nimantran. I have been invited by God in this world full of bliss to enjoy that bliss. Rabindranath is saying in so many ways, mystic poets are saying, Achu anale anile chiranavonile budharo solile gahane Achu bitopi latai jalodero gaye shoshi tarokai tapone. Oh Lord, you are everywhere. Achu anale, in the fire. I see the fire, it is not fire, it is you are there. Anale, anile, in the cool breeze. Chiranavonile, in the infinite sky, blue sky, you are there. Chiranavonile. Budhare, in the ground, earth. Solile, in the waters. Gahane, in the deep forest. Gahane. Acho bitopi lata, you are in the giant trees. Lata, in the creepers. You are everywhere. Acho bitopi lata, jalodero gai. And the jalodero gai, that means in the meg, in the cloud, you are there. And Soshitarokai, in the sun, in the moon, in the stars. So you are everywhere. So where is bitterness? Bitterness, next line he says, Ami nayone vasana badhiya. I have covered my eyes. Vasan means cloth. I have covered like that. That's why bitter. Bitter is I have covered my experience by covering like that. Ami nayone vasana badhiya. And I am groping in darkness. Ami adhare morigo kadiya. So when I put it like that, I don't see the light outside. I don't see the joy. I didn't see the bliss outside. And I say, oh, I am weeping and crying. Oh, Lord, it is all bitter. Please help me, help me, help me. Who are you? Are, take out that veil. See God everywhere. It is all ananda flowing everywhere. But it needs dropping this veil. You remember the Sunday, that Tagananda Swami was saying, drop the veil. Only that much is the work. But it takes long time. So that's the sadhana. That's the prayer every day. That's the meditation every day. That's the selfless work every day. Do that, the veil will be lighter and lighter and lighter, cleaner and cleaner. And then you will see it is all divine, all divine. So it is not bitter. Bitter to the eye of our ignorance, and we are actually forced to see the world the way we look because of our ignorance. The veil which is separating me from the truth. But that's why he said, everywhere is Ananda. In the sun, moon, stars, in the earth, in the air, in the fire, in the trees, in the plants, in the deep forest, in the caves. Everywhere, Ananda. So Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. So we will have to practice this way. We should have to take a new look into the world, and our practice of spiritual discipline should be increased, and then you will find that yes, it is revealing inside. There is nothing. Rabindranath Tagore says, there is no death, no bereavement, no suffering. When I get connected with you, and when I separate myself from you, and there is my death, there is my suffering, there is my pain. So, how to connect with God? That is the point. I am trying to connect. I am connected, but there is one resistance or one veil in between me and God. So, how to do that? Act on that. But true, as another way of looking at the question, it is bitter, world is bitter, really. Ingersoll said, no, I want to squeeze the world, no? To juice, as much juice. Because this world is, Swamiji said, because you live in this understanding, this life is everything. So you have to squeeze. That's why you are hurried to squeeze everything to the sensate experience, sensory joys. But I live in eternity. I have nothing to lose. So expand your identity, then bitterness will go. And really bitterness is a gateway to reach the level of purity and joy. Another question, is it that people who say, I am Brahman, may be in danger of deluding themselves and believing them understand more than really do? This is starting to make more sense. And don't take it that way. I am Brahman is not a bad thought. That is the truth. I am that, that's the truth. Not I am not this. In bhakti also will say, you are not this. You don't get attached to this. Then you cannot have bhakti for God. Your bhakti is for body. Your bhakti is for sensate things. But your bhakti should go for God. So first, it is a way to withdraw, not this, not this. But Bhakta also does that, not this, not this. Not in the positively. Negatively he does. He thinks of God more, the world drops off. And Vedanta says, I focus on not this, so I come closer to God. So two are approaches, no? One is focusing on the target there, I am that. Another is saying, I'm not this. Emphasis is, I'm not this, not this, not this. That's one approach, Vedanta approach. Another approach, I am that. I am that. Oh Lord, you are my heart, you are my soul. I want you, I want you. So you move one step, one step, one step. What are you doing? You are negating this, negating this, negating this. So this world, two approaches and two way of reaching the truth, but they don't lead us to two different places. It takes you to the same place. Same ananda. One is negation, another is a positive idea. That I am, surely we should all say, I am Atman, I am pure, I am Brahman. But at the same time, we should practice so that these things become out of our grip and out of our attention. Another question, should we meditate on God with form first, and after we can meditate with form, should we then attempt to worship Him as the all-pervading Spirit? Why? You think every day. He is both ways you can think. Spend some of your time for 10, 15, 20 minutes that I am infinite ocean of consciousness. There is nothing but that, and I am that. Oh. Think that way and spend every day. And sometimes, and then think that he is in them also. He has consolidated into a divine form of my chosen ideal. Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Christ, or whatever, Makali, whatever, Shiva. So take both aspects and enjoy. As Ramakrishna said, why should we be one-sided? And whatever your instruction you have got from your Guru, follow that, simply. And in your instruction you will find that Guru has given you both. Both the infinite aspect and also the aspect of divine incarnation or divine form, no? So one at the cost of the other. Your mind now feels then very cheerful. Follow that one aspect of the absolute. Or you like to think, okay, think about that. Because both are in your mantra also. It is all embedded into your mantra. So there is no conflict, only do the sadhana. I do not know when people put so many questions, why everything is given, everything is there, only follow them, you include all your sadhana. Saguna Brahma, Nirguna Brahma, Shakti Upasana, or mother, father, whatever idea you get, all are included there. Shiva, Kali, Durga, everything is all punched together. I am saying that gurus have given us this instruction, but still we have doubt. I say, shall I do this? Shall I do that? No, you will do everything. As Guru has said, if you do really everything, then you find that yes, everything is included there. You are not missing anything. Saguna Brahma, Nirguna Brahma, all are given in your mantra. All are given in your sadhana. The practice has been given. Follow detail, intact, don't edit. We always edit. Okay, this I can feel. I can do that tomorrow. I like that. I don't do. Then after some 1 month, 2 months, I forgot what the other teaching was that is gone out of my mind. Because I edited for myself. So that is the point. But really, there is nothing. We should include all. For a harmonious development, for a good spiritual growth, we should have to take all these aspects of spiritual practices. And it is given by our tradition and gives this idea. And another is, what is the difference between Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa, Bhava, Sahaja, Samadhi? Oh my God!
I just copy-pasted this the Google, and that link below is there.
Okay.
That you can get that.
So how they will get it?
You click it.
I shall click. I shall click.
Yeah, that sounds.
I have to read from there. There will be a long time. I say, how can you talk about Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa, Bhava, Samadhi? It is not a so easy question. It needs explanation.
No. If you
Acha, let me touch what comes.
I'm asking, Google can answer.
Google can get Google Samadhi. Google says Samadhi, Nirvikalpa, Savikalpa and Sahaja Samadhi. What's the difference? See, you just ask Google and you get the reply. Really, it has come out. The question is Nirvikalpa, Savikalpa and Sahaja Samadhi. What is the difference?
And two perspectives are there.
Yeah, two perspectives. Okay.
Maharaj, you take information from Janta.
But it is a big thing. I cannot take time. We have finished our time, no?
They can read.
Yeah, tell them to Google.
Yeah.
Great Master
Sri Ramakrishna has given, and it is a serious subject, no? We will have to really, Nirvikalpa, Savikalpa, Sahaja. Sahaja Samadhi means, as you are breathing, Ramakrishna is Sahaja Samadhi. Samadhi is not a big deal for us. For us to go for meditation is a big deal. But who is adept in meditation, like Brahmananda, like Vivekananda, they are adept in meditation. Sit and mind flows in that level. So Samadhi is a state, that transcendental state, they have become spontaneous. Ramakrishna, seeing some man standing and boy standing in the monument, under the monument, with a tree bend, but his mind went to zoo and saw the tiger, lion, and seeing that, boom. So it's sahaja. It does not make any deep effort to that. That's a high level of spiritual people can do that. And what is Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa? Nirvikalpa, total annihilation of all the concepts of body, mind, emotion, intellect, ego. There is nothing. It is a dead body. When Nirvikalpa, there will be no sign of life force in the body. And Ramakrishna stayed in that state so many times and every day. But 6 months. There is no history in we cannot find another example that who stayed in that Samadhi and came back. 6 months he was in that nirvikalpa state and body was dead body. And there is no sign of any life. How it survived? We, in the great master, we hear that a holy man, God-sent man came and he understood Ramakrishna and he was in deep Samadhi. Seeing him, he understood it is for the good of the world, so his body should be preserved. How? That's why he used to take a rule, a wooden rule, beat him. Bang, 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 bang. And after beating many times, beating, a little body consciousness is coming, and he used to keep ready with a ball of food, just a rice ball or something like that, and just pushed into his mouth. But by that time he's gone again. So that is the way his body was saved by God's will. Otherwise, no one in the history have been able to remain in that Samadhi. So Ramakrishna's life, if we find, then we can understand what is Nirvikalpa. And when you come down little, one step down, you have the, called the last Ishvara Darshan. No? It's we talk about Nirguna Nirakara. It's the Vedantic experience where everything merges. Nirguna, no guna, Nirakara. There is no form, but there is only some qualities, compassion, holiness, love. And then you come one step, it is called Ishvara. So, living in different state of mind, when mind moves from one to the other, then this type of experience happens. So, I am not fit to talk about this Nirvikalpa, Savikalpa so much. I would suggest try to practice to get little dhyana. If not dhyana, at least dharana. Practice now so that you can hold the mind in God for 12 seconds. Try one day. If you can 12 seconds hold the mind, the whole world will change for you. So we are talking about dharana, then talking about dhyana, then comes of Samadhi and these different levels of Samadhi. So it is a practice question, and read the great master where Ramakrishna's life, we have to read Ramakrishna's life to understand these things. It is impossible for us to guess anything because it is transcendental experience. Our mind drops there. Our all understanding drops there, much before that. So only Ramakrishna can show us light. So, but what we understand intellectually, I expressed this word. Thank you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.